Josh VanHeusen. I was a Army Ranger medic. I was in college when 9/11 happened. I wanted to join the military before that, and then that had happened. I was about to graduate college, so I went ahead and 2003 signed up in the DEP program, just delayed entry. And so I went in September 2nd, 2003. Back 2003 to 2007. 1st Ranger Battalion down 75th Ranger Regiment out of Savannah, Georgia. Did a couple of trips overseas to Iraq. We went to Ramadi and El Qaeda and some other places around there. Did a long training cycle. I was a medic, so I was a 68 Whiskey 1 Papa, and went through that whole 18 Delta Series training, which is we did the first 6 months instead of the full year. So we did all the trauma and everything that pertains to actual trauma and battlefield situational stuff.
What is Wilder Tactical, and how did it come to exist?
So Wilder Tactical, obviously it's a gear company, but we started off as a hobby shop, something fun to do to kill some time. I was working overseas and got in some Kydex, started messing with it, helped a buddy fix a knife sheath kind of a thing, and it seemed cool. Ordered some more of it in, got rolling, started making some other things, pretty good with my hands usually. And the one product I would say that set us up for success, I'd honestly have to give it to the tourniquet holder, just because it was the product that first got me pushed into actually doing more of a company thing, getting out of the full custom stuff, creating a product or a line that would be available, mass market, mass sale, try to push it out to people. And that had a lot to do with my medical background, doing that kind of stuff. I still like that. I was definitely into the gun side of it and doing the mag holders and all those things, but that was a unique product that wasn't out there. So that kind of was the one that set us apart and got us moving.
What was the inspiration behind making a tourniquet holder?
So the inspiration around making the first tourniquet holder was actually pretty simple. It was the old way we always did it. We always had rubber bands on, hold them on. A lot of people still do it. The problem with rubber bands is, especially in the desert, over time, the sun eats them up, the heat, everything, just the environment, they dry rot, and it's accelerated over there. So they're always in the heat. And one day I was working and my tourniquet fell off. It just came loose, the top rubber band came undone. It was hanging there, so I popped it off, put it in my pocket. I was walking around the rest of the day with my pocket, kind of irritated my leg up. Got done with work for the day and I was like, I gotta get another rubber band set, get this thing fixed up. And we were over making some knife sheaths, screwing around with Kydex, and I just happened to think, like, I wonder what happens if I could just wrap this thing in Kydex and make a solid piece for it. And that's kind of where the first tourniquet holder was born. Really, really simple, rudimentary, just piece of Kydex wrapped around both sides, little bottom flap up, had a little shape to it, 2 holes in it, riveted on an attachment.
What is the last thing people think about putting in their bag?
Surprisingly, it's medical stuff. A lot of people are really hyper-focused on, got my cool gun, I got lots of ammo, I got a range bag, I got my ear pro, my eye pro, so that people don't yell at me on social media. And a lot of people overlook a med kit. They think, well, I'm just going to the range, just shooting some stuff, I'm not getting shot back at. They're not thinking about all the other hazards. It's not something that you need just for the range. You have it in your vehicle, having it with you at all times. It's the random times, you just don't expect stuff. It's like, be prepared instead of the knee-jerk reaction of, I wish I had it. Have it with you, be ready at all times. But if you're carrying a gun, it's always good to carry a tourniquet of some type, a pressure dressing of some type. But yeah, going to the range is definitely good to have an aid kit with you, ricochets, basic stuff that just happens.
We are heading to the tactical farm right now to do a little bit of field testing, little range time. We're going to test out our new extended soft mag pouch. But don't get as much of a chance these days to get out to the range and do as much testing as we'd like to do. But we're going to go out with Mac from Black Rifle Training Group. He runs a bunch of our gear, and we're going to do some shooting in the pit. And basically we're going to run standard mags up through like subgun mags, 32 round Glock mags, stuff like that, in the pouches, just to see how they feel, how they fit on the belt, how they fit on the body, and then again, the most important thing, how well they hold the mags, as far as speed, putting the mags back into them, just all the basic stuff, just to kind of get a feel for them, and make sure we're happy with the product that we're putting out there. We got to send more of them out to our field testers, and what we'll do then is they'll basically beat them up every single day. We don't have the time. Right now we're so busy at work, we're understaffed, everything else going on. We don't get to get out on the weekends, spending that with family, and got the kids now, so it's not like we can go shooting as much or do this or that. So we send them out to guys who are literally just doing it every single day, and let them beat on it, destroy it, give us feedback, what was good, what was bad. Generally, when we get to this point and we send stuff out there, it's pretty much all positive feedback, but we want to know at this point too if there is any negative feedback. So we've got a group of testers that are really honest. They're not trying to downplay anything. A lot of times they'll complain about stuff that's arbitrary, doesn't really matter, which is good because it lets us fine tune our products as much as possible. Oh, what's going on, man? Just another day.
Finally got them tires muddy.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't need the 4-wheel drive to get in here though. Gloves.
What's the first thing people focus on when they enter into the industry?
So when most people enter into this industry, they're thinking guns, ammo, lights, flashy stuff, I got the newest, I got the coolest, I got the best looking, I got it repainted. And they're not always thinking about the things that really coincide with that stuff and really matter, because when the shot clock stops, what happens is you got to look around and assess the situation. You got to assess what's happened afterwards. You could be at the range and it could be a ricochet. It could be some simple stuff like that happens. You could be in the real world and there could be an incident, and heaven forbid you had to pull your firearm and you had to use it. Heaven forbid, maybe you pulled it, you didn't use it. Maybe you were just standing around and someone else got shot or something else happened. Most people aren't prepared for what comes next. They're so over prepared for the upfront. I got knives, I got this, I got that. Medical. What are you gonna do in the situation? Medical doesn't mean I have an aid bag, the size of a rucksack in my car. It doesn't mean that I carry 10 tourniquets on myself. It means I carry some knowledge. How can I use what's around me?
What advice do you have for anyone who wants to be better prepared for medical situations?
I would say the best piece of advice that I could give is starting, just doing something. It may sound a little funny, a little arbitrary, but just looking up some stuff online, watching some YouTube videos, that's better than nothing. The reality is though, is hands-on training is what is key. You can look at it, watch it, and see it a bunch of times, but until you touch it, you don't know how it's gonna react. Doing everything hands-on is key. You can learn how to use the equipment, learn how to use the gear, just by simply buying it and using it. Getting a hands-on with it yourself. Maybe you're watching an online class or something, but physically having the gear to use, to open, to manipulate and do stuff with. That's a good place to start. It's an acceptable starting point to be able to say, hey, yeah, I've done that. The next best thing to that, though, that really would help would be to go to some kind of a course, some kind of a trained professional course. Depending on your mindset and what you want to come out of it with, that can vary. There's a lot of really good wilderness courses out there. There's a lot of good basic courses. Just CPR and basic first aid, they're not teaching you a ton, but they're teaching you some basics. It's a good place to start. But the reality is out and about, just everyday stuff that most things happen. Car accidents, broken bones, compound fractures, all these different things can cause major internal bleeding. Something a simple tourniquet can save. Or, putting a little bit of pressure on a bad cut that hit an artery can save a life. So those things all start with basic first aid, basic medical.